And we're back. Game number 2 of our leadoff best of 3, the front end of an Alliance doubleheader. Had a Cloud9 doubleheader yesterday. They ended up splitting that. And Alliance, well, they're going to look to make it 2-0 for them. But to do so, they're going to win 2 games in a row here in their first series of the day. As Empires jumped out to a 1-0 lead on the back of an amazing draft and phenomenal execution. Alliance, though, not going to let anything remotely similar come out this time around, though, as they do snag the Ancient Apparition for themselves, as well as the Centaur War Runner. In the meantime, Empires grabbed Invoker for the second game in a row. So the draft's still taking shape to break them down. Welcome in once again, Trouf. And, yeah, man, I was just impressed as hell with the way that Empire just kind of manhandled Alliance in Game 1. And that's how it felt. I mean, it wasn't as if Alliance was run over from 5 minutes in or anything. But it never felt like Empire was at all at the disadvantage. Maybe at most when Alliance snuck that Roshan, they felt a little defensive for a while. But for the most part, they just knew what they wanted to do, and they came out and did it, and there wasn't a whole lot of fuss about it.
I don't even think that Roshan phased him too much mentally.
Yeah.
I just think that Empire played something that was comfortable for them in the Invoker and AA, and I know that Mag likes Bat as well. And actually, they ban out the Bat themselves, but they get their Invoker again, so Resolution going to play that. He played it fantastically last game. And but on the other side, we have Centaur picked up along with the AA. Centaur was banned out last time by Alliance, but now they decided they want to try it, and it's going to be a little bit more aggressive for them. And I think this hero, like I've mentioned before, I'm totally a believer now in the Centaur War Runner, when before I wasn't, and it's just such a good hero, and just there's no other way to put it, and he just tramples over and runs at other teams once he hits level 6, and once he gets his blink after that. So really like the picks up coming from Alliance, and Dazzle seems to be also one of the more popular supports. It's when we talk about flavors of the month, like Dazzle and Rasta, and he's picked up here for Empire.
Yep, Dazzle, a hero that you see Empire run fairly frequently, and they can use him in a variety of fashions. We'll have to wait and see how they want to build around him. I really like the Centaur Ancient Apparition combination a whole lot. As you mentioned, Centaur has become kind of a flavor of the month, but for good reason. He just helps out so many ways, and you can do so much with him. He's got a pretty decent AoE stun. He's got a lot of burst, especially once he manages to get up a Hood of Defiance or at least a pipe to help mitigate the return damage on Double Edge. But yeah, his ability to follow up an Ancient Apparition ult with a charge or with a Stampede, Stomp, and then Double Edge just about guarantees you that if you catch any early game support, by early game, I don't just mean like first few minutes, talking first 20, 25 minutes, it almost guarantees you a kill if everything's on par. Even if all you do is catch one support, they're just about guaranteed to die with a Centaur on the map. And as you mentioned, Stampede, and we've seen this happen over and over again. It's great in the sense that you usually expect it to be used, such as big teamfight initiations or, just flanking and so on. But it works in so many other fashions as well. Just being able to initiate into small skirmishes, being able to help your team get on top of 2 other heroes from across the map. And speaking of flavor of the month, Shadow Shaman comes out for Alliance, while Empire going to go ahead and counter pick with the Luna.
Yeah, Luna pick up here. That's a little bit interesting. I think Shadow Shaman's also really good, and it's very hard for me to think of lineups where Shadow Shaman's like not going to work out well.
Right.
Just because you can never go wrong with wards up on the Shadow Shaman, no matter how much you're feeding or how bad the game looks. Those wards are it's like they're going to be as strong as they are regardless of how much farm you have. Obviously, you want more levels so you can have the higher ranks of it, but still, the point still stands. Luna here, not a bad carry here for Empire. I do think that Centaur is quite good against Luna, because if you want to quickly disengage after the ultimate is used, you can pretty much dodge it if you're right on point with that Centaur Stampede. But Luna, pretty good carry for Empire. A little early of a pick in my opinion, but still, nonetheless, it's pretty good. The Aura is going to be good as well if they pick up a third ranged hero to be the secondary support for Dazzle.
I really wouldn't mind seeing a Shadow Demon pick up. We've been seeing EG run similar lineups for quite some time now. And when you see Alliance already with the Ancient Apparition and the Shadow Shaman, as good as those heroes are, and as amazing as they are in lane and can be hard to deal with, I think they are pretty squishy. And I think you've got a pretty decent chance to show up in lane and bully them around. Of course, a lot of that has to do with what they want to farm load on. But yeah, you end up running a Dazzle, a Luna, and a Shadow Demon in that off lane. As you mentioned, you have the Lunar Blessing, the flat damage bonus coming out of just level 1, which is not quite as powerful as Chilling Touch, but it's always there as opposed to Ancient Apparition having to actually use it, and you only get so much mileage out of it. Shadow Shaman, an excellent hero, can burst you down like hell with Ether Shock, but that's on the assumption that he gets levels. So if you show up and you take control early on, Naga Siren is actually going to be the pickup for Alliance, and a Clockwork pickup immediately out of Empire. They had no doubt that's what they wanted to do.
Clock is actually really good. I feel like I haven't seen this really heads up, but on paper it sounds like Clockwork would be really good against Centaur.
Oh yeah.
Not in the sense that that hero versus that hero, but in the sense that you can't stampede away once your cog's in. So I actually really like that pickup from Empire, and not to say that we never see Clockwork, but it does seem like we see him less than like a patch ago when he was picked up like first all the time. And I have seen Mag's Clockwork, and it is scary. It is one of the better ones. So I think this is going to be really fun to watch, and I think that's a smart pickup from Mag.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The Mag, whenever Mag first caught my attention anyway, it was almost exclusively because of his Clockwork play. I mean, whenever you see a player, even when it's on a team like an Empire who, just coming out, because if a player's on a team like that, they're going to be good, and there's going to be a lot that's worthy of note. But what made him stand out was immediately the Clockwork. I completely agree. I want to see where that Naga Siren ends up running.
Me too, yeah.
I don't know if
it
that's
doesn't seem like an S4 hero to me. It seems like a Loda hero. I don't know if we see S4 in so many of those playmaker heroes like Puck, and he did such a good job last game too.
Yep.
It's unfortunate that the things didn't work out in Alliance's favor for his sake. And then the Shadow Fiend, so it looks like it probably is going to be a one Naga with SF mid, and I'm very excited to see S4 if he does play that Shadow Fiend mid.
Yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. I want to obviously Empire's last pick here will set the tone. Shadow Shaman, Ancient Apparition, Naga Siren. Naga's got fairly high armor to start. Shadow Shaman is going to have, Shackles, Ancient Apparition, Chilling Touch early on. She's a melee, though, and that worries me. Like, the idea of a Shadow Demon Dazzle Luna going up against that tri-lane. It would come down to play, obviously, but just think about that. Shadow Wave and the burst that we know that has against the Naga Siren with a Lucid Beam to follow up once Luna hits level 2. Like, that's 3/4 of her health every time they engage, and there it is.
You are right on the money.
It makes too much sense. There's no reason not to do it, and I would be shocked if they don't aggressive tri-lane, because they win in every lane that way. Even if they just break even on running the aggressive tri-lane, Resolution's going to be left alone in mid against a Shadow Fiend. That's a matchup he should win or at least do well in. And Clockwork will get solo farm against a Centaur, which he should do well in. He should not really feel all that threatened by a Centaur there. So you're going to have your two solo laners that are given total free space to last hit and to soak experience. And because it is a Naga Siren, they should be able to bully her around, because even though she does have that early relatively high armor, especially for a level 1, it's not going to matter in the face of the magic damage that you get when you're disrupted, soul catchered, and then hit with Shadow Wave, Poison Touch, and a Lucid Beam. I can't imagine how they're going to deal with that unless Team Empire just screws the pooch.
AC the Prophet, man. Why am I even here? I feel like you've called this Shadow Demon pickup every single time the team has picked it. You're like, oh, Shadow Demon will be good here. Shadow Demon's picked up. Oh, Shadow Demon might be really good here, and it's picked up. So they agree with you in that sense. But I was going to say I think it could work simply because I feel like Clock would actually do quite well against Centaur in a 1v1 matchup. It would be really difficult it's always difficult for melee heroes to go up against the Clockwork, because you're always in range to get cogs very easily, not only inside, but it's very easy to burn the mana melee hero versus melee hero. So right. I totally agree with you and all the points that you mentioned with Shadow Demon. This is a hero that's another one of those kind of flavor of the month heroes, so to speak. And it's been a long time since we've seen. I mean, he was popular a long time ago, and I feel like at the highest level, Shadow Demon is one of the best supports in the game.
Yep.
But I feel like it is also one of the more difficult ones to play properly, especially in the late game. Making the decision whether to offensively disrupt or defensively. It's almost defensively in the late game because it's so good as far as disengaging any kind of counter follow-up from onto one hero that the other team is trying to initiate on. So, but it does look like that right now they're running towards bottom.
That's
and it's gonna be an off lane Clock. So it's still fine. Clock is still gonna do okay, and they just want to guarantee farm, I suppose, on Luna. But I agree with you a little bit. It is a bit risky, but I definitely think that these are some very, very strong heroes that could go up against the Naga tri-lane.
Yeah, I'm still every point you just made is on point, but I don't know. I just feel like they had such an opportunity to really bully this around. It would be tough. I mean, the issue would be if they ended up losing any kind of a fight early on or falling into any kind of a real level at deficit, as Shadow Shaman in particular leveled up and got a point or two into Ether Shock. That would be a little too much for them to stand up to with I don't know, but then do you put an early point in a grave? I don't know. Hell with it. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. They're going to be defensively tri-laning. Horn blows, and game 2 of our first best of 3 is underway. Empire taking on Alliance, leading the series 1-0. Let's look at who's handling who. Mag on the clock. Invoker once again, second game in a row. We've seen him on Resolution on the Invoker, I should say. It'll be Always Wanna Fly, playing on our Shadow Demon, hooking up with Vanscore's Dazzle, and of course Luna, played by Silent, farming down in this safe lane. Other side of the river, we've got Centaur, played by Bulldog, who once again has been doing the drafting, though. As I understand it, it's more drafting by committee than just Bulldog calling the shots all by his lonesome. Going to be Ake on the Ancient Apparition, snags the double damage rune. He's got EGM there to help him out on the Shadow Shaman. Loda's going to be our Naga Siren, and in mid, we're going to have S4 on the Shadow Fiend. Early aggression now as they decide to rotate on mid. Resolution's down in the river. This could get bad. He's going to have to run straight down. Yep. Sees it immediately. And they're not going to be able to catch him. Yep.
Well played, fast reactions. It's little moves like that that make a humongous difference, because that wasted a lot of time from the supports. They're going to miss out on the pulls. They're going to miss out on the experience. Not to mention, it's already difficult to keep clock out, and Mag was doing those cog shenanigans early on, so he's getting full experience here. So, yeah, very, very nice play there by Resolution. I mean, it doesn't look like a big deal. It's like, oh, you just walked away. But, I mean, a lot of players that don't have that heads up and quickly looking around the map. I mean, this is why mid is like regarded as the most difficult role, because you're concentrating on last hitting all the time. There's constant ganks coming out from you, smoke ganks and regular ganks. You have to control the runes. It's a very difficult task. And again, while it may seem like just an everyday, oh, you just dodged the gank and ran away, it's actually good heads up from Resolution.
It's just like anything in Dota, the small things, and especially when you're talking pros make everything look easy. And like you said, like anyone who's tried to play mid knows that the idea of trying the last hit in the face of a Shadow Fiend who already has a few stacks in Necro Mastery, and just noticing as soon as you see an enemy hero show its face on the mini-map or whatever else, and knowing exactly where to go and not hesitating one little bit on it, it's impressive in and of its own right. But take a look at our off-lane heroes. We can see Clock's level 2.5. This should be a very tough lane for Bulldog. He doesn't have any dedicated escape. I mean, he has some ways to kind of reset things, but when it's 3 ranged heroes and they have as much burst as we talked about during the draft, it's just tough. Mag, on the other hand, just gets right in Loda's face, goes, yeah, I'm going to last hit. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Aggressive smoke coming out from Always Wanna Fly. This is one of the reasons why I think they did go safe lane, is because it's so easy for Shadow Demon to initiate on to a hero like Shadow Fiend. Here we go. Disruption coming out.
Resolution right there with the cold snap, and that's probably going to be our first blood. He gets some damage done, but first blood goes to Empire, and they may get more aggressive now even. Like, that might embolden them. Always Wanna Fly is going to head back south for the moment, but he'll be able to get up his brown boots momentarily. Vanscore just level 2, though, and that might slow him down, but they're leaving Silent alone largely in lane just so he can get such a lead. We're going to see the Centaur finally get some pretty good experience just taking this wave under his own tower, at least a little bit. But Bulldog is definitely continuing the struggle. CS board, we can see a slight lead right now for Silent as he's at 17 CS. 15 for Loda, though, certainly not bad.
Yeah, actually not doing too bad at all. I know how it's very, very difficult for melee sometime to farm, because you're always constantly scared of the cog damage and the mana burn. You don't want that to happen. And like I mentioned before, it's very easy for melee heroes to do that. And yeah, the Shadow Demon's effectiveness as a hero is just multiplied when you have heroes that are very, very, that have a skill set that's very good for ganking, like the Invoker, and he went Exort again, so he didn't need to use the Shadow or the Sunstrike that time.
Yep.
But it's very, very, it's ready and available to go. So
one issue I think we may end up seeing come to bear at some point or another, no matter how Loda decides to build out the Naga Siren, Always Wanna Fly in the Shadow Demon is going to be a fairly good answer here. Just because the Naga Siren will eventually get a BKB, but she's much more of a Lincoln Sphere hero most of the time. So if they're able to pop the Lincolns off of her, and they've got some pretty decent spells to do that, Lucid Beam and so on, and then able to disrupt her, if the bigger she gets, basically the bigger she's going to hit her own team. But on top of that, being able to, hang on, wow, Mag just runs right into some shackles, may end up dead and will to a good raise, and it looks like the rest of them are going to be falling back as well. A little bit of over-aggression here in the mid. Resolution Always Wanna Fly and make it away, but Alliance does find themselves yet another kill, and barely EGM got away there. So nice dancing by him to keep himself up and breathing.
Sunstrike was just invoked, and he just gave himself a bottle. I wonder if he's going to try to blindly go for this. I know he wanted to kill him, but now it's kind of like a complete shot in the dark, so it looks like EGM might be okay. It would be very, very impressive if Resolution got it.
Up at top, clock shows his face again, still listening for it. I would imagine he's trying to time it out if he is going to do it and try to shoot it right at the entrance. Nope.
It's a shot in the dark when you're not looking to, and yeah. Oh well.
1-1, 5 minutes in. Another relatively quiet game. There has been quite a bit more early game rotation, and we're not done with that as we see another smoke out of Always Want to Fly. 2 points in the Soul Catcher, 1 into Disruption. I don't know why I want to call him HyperX S4 rather, is moving into the jungle now. And is he stacking for himself? Nope, just going to take them out. Not sure if he stacked those or if anyone else did, but it looks like they're going to decide to focus their attention on top on Mag in the meantime as Ake and EGM moving into position. Mag is at full mana, level 5.5. They're going to have to chain this well. Only Shackles, though. And Mag drops the cogs, but they're able to burst him down, and immediately the TP canceled. That was the question, but don't think it really needed an answer. It actually hadn't looked at Loda's skill build until just this moment. Was maxing the Riptide, so able to bring him down very easily.
Yep, easy kill for them. Good gank and a good use of the smoke, I think. And also, yeah, good stacks coming out. I believe it was a Rasta that was stacking it for S4.
Yeah.
He's going to have to... maybe he has a bottle coming up to him because he doesn't have enough mana to raise this again, unfortunately. But he was actually doing really well in mid before he moved to the jungle here. As far as CS goes, he was like 10 to 12 above Resolution despite the early First Blood coming out on S4. So S4 was doing quite well in mid. Now he's freeing up a little bit of space for Bulldog, who's almost level 5, has his Tranquils up, so not doing too badly.
Very nice melting of the stacks there. Like you said, Bulldog taking S4's place in mid and catching up a little bit, still a level short of level 6, and that's where we'll really see what his value is going to be. Always Want to Fly is level 4.5, and he and Ake are basically nut to butt. Let's see. Yep, finally, they spot each other. The immediate ping out, and he decides to hightail it for safer territory. Down to bottom, Silent, still left completely alone. Will be going a Helm of the Dominator build. Has picked up his Treads and the Helm of Iron Will. So looking to farm late, while Resolution is probably going to get himself a Midas. And yeah, there's no probably to it. Just bought the recipe, so Midas out at 7 minutes in for Resolution.
Yeah, that was very, very good for him. And obviously Invoker we talk about all the time. It's getting those levels is probably the most important thing for him. So yeah, he's going to do well. Top lane Mag, he's almost level 6. He's got about 100 experience points to go. And I think that's going to be really the next step here for Empire is getting the ball rolling with Mag. As you know, he plays a fantastic clockwork, but it's really difficult to do it when you had the hard lane that he did. He had that unfortunate death in mid. I saw the tail end of that, but so I didn't really get to see what happened. But that was kind of unfortunate. He will get level 6 here with this big creep wave coming, and Loda actually might get this tower. This tower is getting very, very low.
Yep, they have a glyph if they want it, and yep, they will use it. He's going to rush forward, try to deny it. Here comes the TP, and Loda has very little mana, does have Song. Oh, he thought about it. Oh, he thought about getting greedy.
That would be death, certain death, by the way.
Yep, still thought about it. And, there's the hook. Oh, almost got him anyway. And Loda able to make it back to safety. They do manage to deny the tower, but that's hilarious. That's just, you know exactly what's going through his head. I can just hear Loda just, yeah, backs off. But anyway, Greed didn't win out that time. Alliance manages to gain the map control. Not quite as much gold as they would like, but it's a tight one. We're 8.5 minutes in. Negligible gold lead. The experience is slightly in favor of Empire, though, and that has a lot to do with this hand of Midas up on Resolution.
Yeah. Now, Emerald Bulldog, he's actually close to 6 himself, which is going to be very, very good. As we mentioned, though, against Mag playing the clockwork, if Mag's able to initiate, you can't really use the Centaur ulti to disengage, more of like as an aggressive tool onto heroes like Naga running in, getting the slow on someone or whoever it might be. Maybe use it so that Rasta can get into range to use the Hex, things like that. So that'll be really fun to watch. And he's quite far away from his blink, but that's okay. I mean, that was a really, really difficult lane for him, bottom.
Tough lane. He's slowly trying to find his own items, as is S4. S4 has added the Hand of Midas to his own inventory, so he's coming out about 2 minutes later than that of Resolution. Resolution had his up, but didn't have it in his inventory until about 7:30, 7:40. So certainly not the end of the world there. But that's going to be the race, I think, so far. I mean, I still hook barely off the mark on Loda. Got there just in time to see it shot. But that's kind of my concern, though, moving forward for Alliance. They're going to have, obviously, S4 able to do good damage with the Shadow Fiend if they're able to keep him on par, and really no reason to believe they can't unless Empire does something to disrupt it. But in terms of the Luna versus the Naga, I can't help but want to favor the Luna just because of who she has on her team. They have the ability to get on top of her. She is a melee hero who can be kited if she gets hit with Demonic Purge. So I think Alliance is going to want to, obviously, they're not going to feel terrible taking this late. They have a good team for it. But I still think they're going to want to do the majority of their work in the next 20 minutes or so just to secure them the position they need, heading late to feel comfortable, given it is a Naga Siren in the one position.
The one thing I do like about Naga on this team of Alliance is they're not traditional combo heroes, except for maybe the Shadow Fiend, but I really like the setup that they'll have with Naga Sleep. The Shadow Fiend ulti is going to be very, very good. You can throw down wards, trap someone while they're slept. You can get in position to AA ulti a group of people. So I actually really like how the Sleep will come into play, and hopefully will come into play for Alliance in the mid game. That should be fun to watch. Ice Blast coming out somewhere. Couldn't see really where.
Yep, didn't even see it flying across the map. Was watching, but trying to do more with the cameo cam. Hang on, there's going to be the Stampede and Bulldog.
Oh no.
Yep. Lucid Beam as he was spotted through the trees and ends up dying there. A little weird. Why would he go there and not straight back, I wonder?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing, and maybe he just thought at the second that, like, oh, more action atop. Mag's a little bit in trouble. No, he should be fine.
Yeah.
TP rotations. He goes back in, actually.
Right on the load up. EGM's there with him. Hits him with the Hex before he can cog, and that's going to prevent the counter initiation. Good damage doesn't always want to fly. Sunstrike on the mark, but it's split up across damage onto the creeps. So Ake able to help his buddy back, as is EGM. In the meantime, though, Silent does find himself a tower kill, and he's going to be going straight up to Yasha, and he's almost got it done right now. Already has the Helm of the Dominator up and has dominated an Alpha Wolf, so that always
Check out
helps.
a CS.
Yeah, 94 to 11 minutes. Not quite as good as it's 11:45. He has 94, but it's definitely up there with the 94 Arteezy posted at 11 flat. And yeah, I think we're back to farms orbiting his farm. It's so big status at this point. He's just now hit triple digits in there, but S4 is right behind him. Now we're going to have an ensnare on the mag. Gets the cogs down though. More of just a scare him off kind of a measure, at least for the moment. And we see EGM just sitting in the hip pocket now of S4 as he just continues to farm the jungle safely.
Very interesting, like, distribution of gold for items for Loda. On another tower, that's 2 tower last hits for Silent in the last minute, literally. So he is going to be freaking buff, man. He's already got his Yasha and another 700. Oh my god, he is so farmed. But Naga or Loda, he has the Bracer plus the Robe of the Magi getting ready for drums. Aggressive smoke though. Hold that thought as they're trying to find some heroes, but he's not spending it on the drums.
Oh, Loda.
Oh no.
That is dead. Yep, no doubt about it. And that's a big pick, actually. That's a very big pick off for them. Delaying Loda's item progression like that. He actually could have just flat out finished his drums there, and it looks like that's what he's going. He's got a Bracer and a Robe of the Magi, but
yeah,
I'm curious.
That's what I was talking about. I don't know why you would get those items, but then hold out for your relic, because that's what it looks like on paper that he's doing. So very, very curious.
Changing things up, I think, and it makes sense. I like the idea of an early Radiance just because of how squished they are, and the fact that yes, the Luna's going to get a BKB, maybe the clock, but usually the Invoker, if he gets one, he gets it late, and that could have an effect on him, and certainly have a big effect on Dazzle and the Shadow Demon. But Silent is getting huge. AA Ultimate will connect. And that'll be enough to force them back, not wanting to take any chances. But Alliance looks like they might be trying to sneak a Roshan soon. S4 doesn't have any lifesteal up, I was wondering. Instead, he's gone for the Ogre Club on the way to a BKB. And yeah, they're just going to try to catch them out of position.
Yeah, Roster Ward's deployed on Roshan. So it looks like they are pretty committed into this. S4 taking a lot of damage, though. And I think they might get this mag. Hopefully he doesn't just randomly rock it, because this could be a good play opportunity for him. But no, they don't suspect this. Should be free.
Roche going to drop very quickly. That's going to turn things around. See who they're going to put it on will be S4 and Empire. Falling asleep at the wheel a little bit there. I mean, they didn't see anyone on the map, yet they were still forward. They were still hanging out like right here. So if they didn't figure they were smoking, I can't help but wonder where they thought they were going to be. Nonetheless, 3-2. They maintain the kill lead. Roshan helps level things off a little bit for Alliance, though the gold is very heavily in favor of Empire at this stage, coming up on 5,000 gold at 15 minutes. Experience much more manageable this time around. And taking a look at the net worth, we can see it is a pretty big lead for the two you would expect it to be on. The Luna, who has done great so far. Hold that thought. Oh, S4 is going to lose this for free. And up, do they have no detection? Up, trying to do what damage they can.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Huge win for S4 there. And that Invis rune paying dividends big time.
It really is, because he would have died a second time
for sure. For sure.
That was really, really lucky to have that Invis. So good for him. That was a freaking bullet to dodge right there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really scared for Alliance that when BKB gets up onto Silent, which is very, very soon, he already has the Mithril Hammer. I don't know how they're going to kill him. Aside from bursting him down before he gets that BKB with like a Song plus Requiem or something, but I'm pretty sure he can get that off before. So I don't know. It's got to be like an initiation with Shadow Shaman Hex. And actually, Shadow Shaman EGM that doesn't have too bad a farm. He's only 1,000 gold away from his Blink, so doing good for him. He's got 30 last hits under his belt, and maybe that's what they're doing. They're prioritizing some farm on him. Blink was already up on Admiral Bulldog, so I think that's the key here for Alliance is a Blink on EGM.
And it's about halfway done, as you had mentioned. Level 2 Necro Book is already up on the Invoker, however. And Alliance is playing very defensive. This looks like they're just using this as a farming Aegis and just wanting to get S4 caught up and on par. Still has a bit of ways to go, though. He's about 2,000 gold behind the Luna, and Loda's even further behind, about 2,700 gold behind. But I feel like they're going to be happy with this. Empire, I'm thinking, might be feeling a little bit of urgency at the moment, though. You look at their items, they're really in deceptively good shape. They've already got up the Blade Mail on the Clockwork. They've already got up the Book 2, soon to be Book 3. Only 400 gold till it's Book 3 on Resolution. Shadow Demon has an urn. Very basic item, but very good item. Medallions up on the Dazzle, so their ability to burst down, loaded to burst down the Shadow Fiend is going to be quite huge. Also has up a Staff of Wizardry as well. And
I didn't see it, but wards were just used from EGM, and they didn't get anything out of it. So they must have missed an opening or gone on illusion or something. I do see that Mag has illusions because he has one up here.
Yeah,
maybe they went onto a Clockwork illusion. I don't know for sure, but it's a likely story.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. But yeah, in the end, Empire's in really quite good shape. There's going to be an urn on the Ancient Apparition as well. But with Alliance having to wait a minute and a half, not quite that, about a minute 15, and now the BKB's done on Luna. Now this might be the time to go. The Magic Community up. Book 3 is actually done on the Invoker, and we'll see if they're going to wait on it or just go as is. But this Tier 2 tower looks like it's going to be abandoned by Alliance. They're really not in any kind of defensive position to try to defend it.
They're not. They're just going to trade. And the bad thing about this, too, is, okay, Luna, he's doing a good job of, or not Luna, but Loda, doing a good job of split pushing. But Alliance, the other members, have really nowhere else to go. And S4, oh my god! Took so much damage there from the Dazzle. Holy crap, and he just dies.
That's a free Aegis.
Wow.
And
that was like half HP dead.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Well, he honestly just finished his BKB. But other than that, he's kind of naked. I mean, he's got a Midas Shreds BKB. That's really it. And in 18 minutes, it's not horrible. But against where Empire sits right now, that's not enough to keep him alive. He has the right click alone from the Luna is considerable enough that he has to be scared of it. And we can, just look at the bounce damage. Just on the bounces, it's making noticeable chunks. And, now all the way down to half health. And Sunstrike going to be shot behind it. Did hear the hook go off from Mag, but unable to connect with the target. But, basically taking that for free. As you said, Loda doing an okay job split pushing, and they have to be constantly wary of the Naga Siren Ultimate, which is on a lower cooldown now, as he did hit level 11. So once every minute or two, he'll have it available. But, I think Empire could just begin to try to choke out and smother Alliance now.
Yeah, some uncharacteristic missed hooks here from Mag. He missed a couple before, too, so that's unfortunate. If he hit the SF there, I think that was a pretty much guaranteed kill. Here we go, aggression onto Silent.
Silent, going to be disrupted defensively, and they're unable to come back out on him. S4 thought about it, still has his BKB 10 seconds. But just look at the damage again. They don't even have to get into range of him. They can just bounce it off of creeps, and 3 or 4 auto attacks makes a pretty big chunk of damage. And this is without the Invoker here, by the way. They're going to realize that soon enough. Radiance is done on Naga, and that might be enough to deter them from staying here. Yeah, they're finally going to back off. Mag might look for one last hook as it's off cooldown now. That would be unwise as Alliance is there as 5. But Whole time, Resolution continues to farm up. And I don't know, man. This is just feeling very chancy for Alliance right now.
I think that they're still in an okay position. Like this, if you saw he just picked up the Radiance, not the earliest timing in the world, but it actually did considerable damage to Silent. And obviously he can't, like, do they have a mech on their team, by the way? I mean, they have the healing from Dazzle, but that's about it. No mech. So this Radiance is kind of like the saving grace for Alliance at this point. If they can rat out, get a couple more items up on the Loda, a couple more items up onto S4. S4's farm hasn't been that great, other than early game when he had the stack.
Oh, there's a good one. Bulldog. Yep, made a bit of a difference that time. Mag there with the blade mail. Helps bring him down. Tier 2's gone. Only one outer tier tower still remaining. And that's probably the best hook he's hit all game. He's going to be down 20 seconds. Don't think they're going to try to push it to a Radiance quite this early. They're going to be probably focusing on just clearing the map of towers and, of course, the next Roshan, which should be up in the next few minutes or so. And map control's utterly in their favor. They still have their tier 1 mid up, man. Like 20 minutes into a game, your tier 1 mid still standing. You're usually in good shape, especially whenever there's only one outer tier tower still standing for the enemy team. And yeah, look at Silent. He's just farming right in front of their base.
I would really love to pick Loda's brain and ask just what's the point of the Bracer, Robe of the Magi if you're not going to get drums.
Yep.
I think maybe he got it and just decided that he didn't want to get drums. That must be it.
I agree with you.
There's really no reason to have those items if you're not going to finish the drums. And drums is such a great cost-effective item for the stats anyway. I know Jurassic has a hard-on for him.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. We could see an initiation. Oh no! He gets the disruption before the sleep.
Yep, and
he's stuck.
Oh, he has no life left. They're going to come in to try to engage, but Silent wasn't caught by it. Has his BKB up to wander through it. Down goes the Shadow Fiend. Bulldog doing what he can on the back of the fight, but this is an absolute disaster for Alliance. And Always Want to Fly is even still alive. The Radiant's burn damage is helping. EGM's caught in the trees, and they're going to figure that out eventually. And Always Want to Fly. You got to be careful, man. You're going to burn. But those are actually his illusions, so never mind. That could not have gone worse or better, depending on who you're a fan of. If you're Alliance, that could not have gone worse. She was winding up the cast point for the sleep, disrupted. That lets Silent get right about over here, wait for it to go off because he knew it was going to go off. He knew he was still going to sleep. He goes, okay, BKB, LOL, LOL, and just basically auto-attacked everyone. Yeah. But
no, these two heroes, Resolution, Always Want to Fly, are really like banging on all cylinders this entire series. The last game it was the same thing, except it was with AA Invoker, but then this game it's also the Disruption plus Sunstrike. And you saw that freaking damage on a Naga, almost one shot basically with the Soul Catcher on him as well.
Yep.
It was absolutely insane. So MVP in that little skirmish really Always Want to Fly with a very, very quick reaction with the disruption onto Naga. Not to mention you get the illusions too, which also have the Radiance burn. So Shadow Demon is just a very, very good pickup this game, as you alluded to before they picked it up.
Love the hero, man. Love the hero. He's at the last international. Anytime I was asked to sign a poster, like they had that big poster with all of the hero portraits in it, and everyone picked their favorite. I always sign Shadow Demon. Love that hero.
Oh yeah,
always. But Roche is up, by the way. Really short respawn timer, like 12 seconds short respawn timer. And Empire seems like they're in a position to bring it down very quickly if they want. Maybe feeling like they want some more vision up. Yep, that's all they wanted. Get the ward up. And just look how well warded they are. They're going to be able to see Alliance coming from pretty much any angle. They're going to be able to determine from this mid lane where they're going to go. Are they playing defensive and trying to farm? Are they going to try to get into position for Roche? Looks like right now Empire's not willing to chance it, and no reason to. They're sufficiently far ahead. They have Midas's up, or at least Midas up, and this is pretty much their game to lose now.
Yeah, and I mentioned before with the early BKB on the Silent, like how would they kill him if he gets it off, and then now Invoker has the same thing. He's got a BKB, and there's just not enough right-click damage from S4 to do anything about that. So they had a chance right there with that initiation from Loda that last fight, but that really set them back. And I agree with you, it's totally Empire's game to lose.
Resolution caught with the AA ultimate. Bulldog not going to follow it up. But again, it's partially the limitations of the Naga Siren, man. Like the hero is such a good one if you take her super late, and she gives you some excellent things. Song of the Siren as either a way to engage or disengage. Ensnare as a disable that goes through Magic Community. I mean, she's a great hero, But against a lineup like this, she is just necessitated to have magic immunity. And when you rush big items like a Radiance, you're just going to be lacking it. Nice AA ultimate's going to hit everyone. They're going to stay and finish, though. And, yep, even BKBing just to make sure they get it. There's the weave just in case they run into someone coming out. And, yeah, that's Alliance just saying, nope, whoa, very close call as Ake had his shoulder brushed by the hook. But honestly, I think this one might be just about winding itself down. It's hard for me to imagine Alliance ever really having a chance to get back out on the map at this point.
Yeah, that BKB I think was purely for, I don't want to get cheesed out by a Naga just walking in, sleeping, and grabbing the Aegis.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. And rushing up the high ground. Just look at how much damage Luna's doing. That's just Luna plus illusions. Like, they don't even have anyone else there, and she forced S4 and the supports completely back with half health. And they've still...
EGM's almost dead, too. If he gets Sunstrike here by Resolution, does he have it invoked? No, he doesn't. So EGM, he's still like predicting it though. If you see him walking around, he's like trying to juke and jive, or maybe not. Nope, he's just going back to the well.
And he goes. Out comes Silent once again. Alacrity on the illusions is an interesting choice. And AA ultimate catches nothing but creeps. That's probably it. Without a good AA ultimate, I don't know how they can defend anymore. It'll be off cooldown soon, but yep, tier 3's gone. And teleport back in. That was a little unnecessarily style pointish EGM. Teleported in and just blinked immediately back just to let everyone know, yes, I'm here. You should go away and let us farm, please. No rush, 26 minutes, please. Now here we go. No tower there. There's your chilling touch. Possibly the last fight of the game. Good weave. Down go the wards, though. Let's see if they can bring him down. Rock drops and hurt a hook behind. They managed to get Bulldog. Mag with the blade mail up. Popping the Stampede. They're going to focus down Mag, but that just means that gives Silent time to re-engage. BKB was already up. Loda has to run. And S4 is hitting fairly hard, actually, but not nearly hard enough. The whole team is tucked away, and S4 led Silent to them. Ultimate. Oh, what a grave! Vanscore, what are you doing? Are you kidding me? Disruptions there as well, but he comes out right into the Shadow Rays. So things being cleaned up a bit. Lodo, good hex from EGM. Big plays coming out. Big plays coming out from the supports on both sides. Empire, though, going to be able to clean up with just Resolution up. And Ake dies walking into his own fountain. Resolution got to be eating some burn damage. What an unbelievable grave. And then hexing out the freaking Forge Spirit just so Loda could get away. They're actually going to get Resolution. Hung around a little too long that time, and it cost him 1,000 gold.
The support play on both sides has been so fun to watch. EGM, what a player. That was so well played. Also, you mentioned the humongous grave from Vanscore, keeping him alive. Nicely timed raise, though, from S4 to get the last hit off of that grave. But honestly, that was like not a horrible... I mean, all things considered, they lost Rax, but that's pretty inevitable with the huge lead that Empire has. Alliance, they're holding out in these fights, but if you just keep doing the same exact thing for Empire, it's going to be the next set of racks, and then the next set of racks, and then obviously the game after that. So, yeah, it's I don't know. You're running out of options here for your Alliance. I feel like at this point you can't get initiated on by Mag, even though he died. He actually didn't get the kill on the Centaur and died first. He was giving so much time to have all the minions, the Book 3, the Force Spirits, and everybody else hit down the racks and then take the fight afterwards.
Well, the reason he died first was not because he was going to... Like, if it was just him and Bulldog, he's not going to die there. Every bit of Alliance collapsed on him, and that's fine. Right. Like, he's not going to mind that. That just... Basically, if there was any mistake made, Empire could have just gone, okay, you want the clockwork, and then pulled back and just had a free racks if they wanted to with 4 still standing. But at any rate, their lead has kind of, I won't say fallen off, but leveled out. So Alliance, it's at this point, it's just more a problem of map control. I mean, you can kind of rat around with a Naga Siren, especially a Radiance Naga Siren, but now Luna has her butterfly up, and I don't know. I like you said, they could just basically do the same thing. They could throw bodies at the racks at this point and probably find a win.
They need like an Enigma on their team, because I like this Naga Sleep plus SF ult combo is just not going to work against the BKBs.
Yep.
And they need like an instant stun right afterwards onto heroes, and but obviously that's draft's already happened, and there's this. I can't believe this is even 29 minutes because with all the items coming out for Silent in particular, with the butterfly now completed, he's got 250 CS. He's got nearly 20k gold worth. It feels like you're in like 40 minutes.
It actually feels like a bit of a longer game than it's been. It's actually been relatively quiet. I mean, we saw a few kills happen there, but 12-9 is the current kill score in a nigh on 30-minute game. So not quite on the pace that we've kind of grown accustomed to, but it looks like Empire once again just going to group as 5 and push. And while they do, chat trivia with a 24-6 record on the hero, which player has the most career wins as Shadow Fiend in Pro Dota since mid-2012? I'm going to say Demon.
Demon? Oh, I'm going to say Dendy.
Dindy's up there too. I'm going to guess it's one of the two. There's a disruption.
We also have to count for, was Demon winning many games back then?
Yep. Good point. Here we go. Bulldog going to catch out Resolution as the A ultimate behind it, but BKB's up, passes the Eclipse. Immediately down go the supports. Loda ends up dropping mid-song as the BKBs are just too much to overcome. 3 down for nil. Silent chasing him back to the fountain. And Bulldog, yes, dies to the Sunstrike, plus the rocket sitting in his own well. GG, well played, is called, an Empire knocks down and bloodies the nose of Alliance in their D2L Western Challenge debut. Also improved their record to 1-2 and keep their hopes for the postseason alive.
Yeah, they desperately needed that win too, with being 0-2 before this. And Arteezy, okay, he must have just gotten picked the hero a lot, because it said all the way in 2012, so I was thinking,
right.
I mean, I was immediately thinking to Arteezy, but with the 2012, I was like, maybe he didn't have time.
Right, that's kind of how I was feeling about it too. Like, the fact that you took it so far back, I thought Demon was probably the more likely choice, but too easy for Arteezy. Anyway, break it down, my friend. Break down this last game of this series anyway.
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, I feel. Empire just got way more out of their heroes. Luna outfarmed Naga. Naga had a harder time. And I don't know, I feel like Invoker plus a Resolution plus Always Wanna Fly just really just dumped on Alliance in these last 2 games. His Invoker needs to be banned out, I feel now. I mean, this is already a hero that's gotten so many bans. As you mentioned at the beginning, we saw the stats. This is the most the most banned hero. And for good reason now, especially against a Resolution. He just plays it too well. He got the early Midas. He's 8-1-5. He's constantly scouting the map for Sunstrikes, invoking the correct spells. And then the support play also from Empire was very fantastic. And Silent got so much far. It was really hard to break this down. It seemed like whatever could have gone wrong for Alliance did go wrong, and they just got out-farmed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like the matchups were kind of bad across the board. Centaur really struggled. We knew that was going to be a tough lane for him, and he was slow out the gate because of it. 0-5-2 was where he wound up. Did get up the mech and the blink dagger by the time all was said and done, but really nothing spectacular there. It was definitely Empire setting the tone from the early stages of the game on. We did see some rotations out of Alliance, so it's not as if they just sat back and took it, but at the same time, it was really the movement of Empire that really got things under control. S4 on the Shadow Fiend, we saw him, I don't know. It's hard for me to... We saw the stats, and we've seen S4 play Shadow Fiend. It's not like he can't play the hero. He's a damn amazing Shadow Fiend. But
he was beating mid. Like, even though we got ganked, like, he was doing really well mid. Definitely out-CSing Resolution in mid, which is not that easy to do when you've already been ganked. So your souls have kind of reset. Resolution with Exort. So he was definitely winning mid for the time being, and then he went to the stacks that were stacked from EGM, who played very, very well this series, by the way. Unfortunately, they had to lose to 0-2. But, yeah, I don't think it was really S4. I think, if anything, Naga just didn't come online fast enough.
Agreed.
The Radiance was quite late from Loda. Didn't really seem too much of an impact from it, to be honest. And also, he by the way, did end up picking drums, so I don't understand that at all. I would really love to pick his brain about that. But, yeah, I think the Naga just came on too late. Centaur we felt really no impact from him with the 0-5-2, and to be honest, Admiral Bulldog didn't really have that great of a series today.
No, he really didn't. Looking like he's shaking off a little bit of rust. Nonetheless, Empire once again improves their record to 1-2, while the Alliance drops their first series of a doubleheader. They've got their second series coming up next here on the D2L Western Challenge. I'm your host there in AC Chambers. We're about 1 hour out right now from the second half of our Alliance doubleheader here today. It's actually going to be back-to-back, so I guess you call it a big Alliance block. as we've got 3 more series over the next 24 hours. They have one more coming up at noon Pacific Standard Time. That'll be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and of course 9 p.m/21 if you happen to be in Central Europe. And then that'll wind us up for the day. Then tomorrow they're back in action with 2 more series. So make sure you mark your calendar for that, especially if you're an Alliance fan. Boom! I am. Fan of all Dota teams, really. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast. I'm AC, the guy you've been hearing on the other side. That's Trout. You can follow us both on Twitter at AC at AYESEE and Tralf Dota at TRALFDOTA. And I love how we've repositioned like the camera or something so it doesn't literally look like the fridge is Tralf. That was hilarious tweet yesterday.
I got no problem with it.
Hey, dude, the fridge has got the Aegis on it. How can you have a problem with, like, being mistaken for anything that has the Aegis on it? But anyway, guys, once again, hang out for the next hour. Go watch another stream, whatever. Just make sure you're back for our second series of the day coming up just about 60 minutes from now here on the D2L Western Challenge. We'll see you then.